Hello YouTube, I'm back now for my number 6 on the countdown, and like I said for number 6, I was really debating whether to put this as number 6 or the Theory of Everything as number 6, and I know this is not the most popular opinion what I'm about to say. I know a lot of people are going to test what I'm about to say, but my number 6 for the Oscars this year is the Grand Budapest Hotel. Now, before anyone starts saying that I just don't like Wes Anderson, I just don't get his style. Let me say this right now: I love Wes Anderson. I love the Royal Tenenbaums. I love Fantastic Mr. Fox. I love Moonrise Kingdom. Actually, I have a Moonrise Kingdom poster hanging on my wall right there. So I love Wes Anderson. I love his style. I love the actors he used. I think he's a fantastic director. My thing is, I just don't think this is his best movie. I actually think this is one of his weaker films, which I know a lot of people think this is one of his best films, but I'm just not in that boat. And let me go into why exactly, because why I think this is one of his weaker films. Because here's the thing. I like when I first saw this film, I thought it was pretty good. Like, I actually really liked it. I actually kind of loved this film. Then I catched it on TV recently, like after I watched some Fantastic Mr. Fox. Like, there was a Wes Anderson marathon going on, and I was just my only thought was like, this isn't doing it for me the way something like that did. So to go into that, I think this is the reason, because when I think about this movie, I can only really pick out one major positive, and one thing that because with the Wes Anderson film, you can always say great things about his style and his art and the way he shoots everything, the fact that everything kind of looks like a toy to a certain degree. It all has kind of a fairy book, a fairy tale aspect look to it, with great colors and things like that. I think with this movie, though, and you can always say that, but with his other movies, I can say more positives than that. I can say a lot of positives with that. For something like Moonrise Kingdom, I was I love the romance between the two kids. I loved Bruce Willis. I thought had a really great deep character. Ed Norton, I thought he gave one of the most legitimately warm performances ever in that career, as the Scoutmaster. But with the Grand Budapest, when I look at it, there's only one major thing that sticks out in my mind, and it is a major thing. So, don't think this was a minor thing. No, this is a major thing about the movie, which is why, even though it's not my favorite Wes Anderson film, I still think it's a very good movie. And that is the performance of Ralph Fiennes. Now, Ralph Fiennes, he's never worked with Wes Anderson before, but after seeing it, it looks like he always did. He is so wonderful as the main character in this film, or I guess you could argue that Zero's the bellboy's the main character. Well, whatever. Ralph Fiennes, he's definitely given the flashiest role out of all the actors in the movie. He plays the owner of the the runner of the Grand Budapest, Mr. Gustav, who's very flamboyant and very over the top, and he is just Ralph Fiennes just relishes in this role. He just gives it his all in every single scene. He just I heard someone say he thought he was a bit over the top to me. I thought he just fit that was just the type of person he was. He was supposed to essentially just be an over the top kind of guy, just a larger than life personality who because he is just tries to just sell himself as the most kindest, most attractive, most world class man of all time, and he is just wonderful in the role. Sorry about that. He is just wonderful in the role. Every scene he just cracked me up in this movie, line after line. And I actually really loved his relationship between him and the bellboy Zero. I forget that actor's name. This was his first thing. I'm sorry. So Ralph Fiennes is by far the best thing about this movie. He is what carries this film for me. And, other positives are it's still Wes Anderson's directing. It's still the great art. It's still those surrealist kind of dialogue sometime. And but I have to move on to the negatives with this film. And the thing is, I can't really say anything that negative about this film. It's not negative. It's just I just thought this just wasn't good as his other stuff. Maybe it was just the fact I was just disappointed with this film to a certain degree. Cause, cause, he gets a lot of other actors in this film. Like, there's a lot of other actors in this film, but everyone you would expect to be working with Wes Anderson. Even if they're not given a major part, they still cameo, like Jason Schwartzman cameos, Bill Murray cameos, Owen Wilson cameos. The only major actors, Wes Anderson actors that kind of get more bigger parts are Adrian Brody as the villain and William Dafoe, who I don't know if he gets a single line in this film. He may have, I don't remember, but playing basically a hitman and I will say Dafoe was actually incredibly creepy during this film. I was legitimately terrified of him in this. I feel though when I look at this film, I feel the reason I didn't like this much as the other Wes Anderson films is because what I usually like about Wes Anderson films, they usually try to tell more simplistic plots with a more fantastic, every character's really memorable and great. For a film like Rushmore, I love Rushmore. What was the plot of that film? It was just a kid, just a student trying to get with a teacher who Bill Murray was also. But I remember these characters. I remember just Bill Murray, his inner misery. I thought Jason Schwartzman just how an insane character he was, volunteering and being part of anything he could and I remember those characters. I thought they were fantastic characters. Like I said, Moonrise Kingdom. I remember Ed Norton as the Scoutmaster. He was just so warm to me. I honestly thought he gave one of the most warmest performances I've ever seen an actor give in any film. It's during the scenes when the main character is sad and depressed, thinking he's about to have to go back to foster care, and he just tries to cheer him up, but he's just that was probably one of the best campsites I ever saw one of my scouts set up. I thought that was great. I loved Ed Norton that but the thing with the Grand Budapest Hotel, I feel it was trying to tell a larger plot with more simplistic characters, and I didn't like that about the Wes Anderson film. Because, like I said, the only character who kind of gets a giant character with many layers, I thought, was the main character, Ralph Fiennes as Mr. Gustav. And like I said, though, and he became the single-handedly best thing about the movie from beginning to end. And with the other actors, a lot of them are just cameos after that. Adrian Brody is pretty typical. William Dafoe, like I said, doesn't even though he's kind of creepy, doesn't really get a line. Is there anyone else? There's anyone else I can think of? There's the main actor who plays Zero. I thought he did a good job. He just sort of stands there though and just sort of he's kind of just there to give someone Ralph Fiennes to talk to throughout the majority of the film. And then there's the main character's Zero girlfriend played. I forget what the actress's name. She's the either Irish and Scottish actress. She was she was the lead in The Lovely Bones or Hannah. If you ever saw those movies, I don't know if you did. She's actually really good in this film. I will say that she actually also gave a very charming performance. But like I said, though, this was just a film. I wanted so much more out of it because all I really remember looking back at this film is it just had the typical Wes Anderson great look. But all I can really remember with this film above and that stands out from all of his other projects are Ralph Fiennes, and that's it. I'm sorry, I can't really say that much. What I can say is just this just felt like a pretty this kind of felt to me felt like what people stereotypically think about what Wes Anderson is. And that was my issue with this movie. I never thought the characters were that great except for Ralph Fiennes. But Ralph Fiennes is amazing. This movie's definitely worth a watch just for Ralph Fiennes' performance. So for my final rating of this movie, sorry this review is kind of jumbled, but I just have trouble talking about this movie and why I don't like it that much. Because maybe this film was more constructed. Maybe it's still trying to tell its giant plot. Because the plot is that the Mr. Gustav, Ralph Fiennes, is framed for murder, is framed for murder, and but because of that, he's on the run most of the movie. So it's basically just him, like all the actors, like all the other Wes Anderson actors, they just cameo throughout his journey with all the people they run into as they try to clear Ralph Fiennes' name. So maybe if they just had a few more characters who are always around and always kept getting more and more developed, I would have liked this movie more and thought this was one of Anderson's best. For final rating, I'll give this movie 3.5 out of 5. It's Wes Anderson. If you like Wes Anderson, you're gonna like this movie. It's still worth a watch. It's worth a watch if you like Wes Anderson. It's definitely worth watching just for Ralph Fiennes. But besides that, I thought this was one of his weaker films. And I know a lot of people love this film and think this is one of his best. I just don't see what everyone else sees, and I'm sorry about that. So